want to share one final video, and this is the green energy scam that's going on as well. Have a look at it.
The SDTC board, executives, and senior management must be held accountable for their gross mismanagement of taxpayer money and the gross misconduct that's been perpetrated by the toxic senior management team that has victimized countless employees. And the federal government must also be held accountable for its embarrassing lack of oversight that's allowed these problems to persist and its egregious cover-up of the truth that occurred this fall. At the beginning of this year, a comprehensive 345-page presentation was created and submitted to the Privy Council office at the request of the Office of the Auditor General of Canada, who we originally went to. This package contained documents that outline gross mismanagement across every aspect of SDTC's operations and governance. It highlighted non-compliance with the SDTC Act and contribution agreement across all of the organization's funding streams and serious breaches of the conflict of interest policies by the executives and board. The package also included evidence of the toxic workplace culture that was created by CEO Leah Lawrence and her friend and still current VP Zoe Kolbach, who've been allowed to continue abusing and harassing employees by a passive senior management team and board that protects and hides the abuse. All of this information underwent review by PCO and was then forwarded to ISED, who subsequently engaged RCGT to conduct an independent fact-finding exercise to validate this information. Here are the findings for everyone. The Seed Fund, Ecosystem Fund, and Scale Up Fund were all found to be ineligible due to multiple violations of the contribution agreement, significant deviations from the due diligence process, and conflict of interest breaches by board members and executives. This finding encompasses nearly 200 companies that all received over $80 million, all of which was improperly funded using taxpayer money. The two COVID payments in 2020 and 2021 were also given to the full portfolio of companies and totaled almost $40 million and were also deemed to be ineligible as the use of these funds was not effectively tracked. And several board members in that instance also violated conflict of interest by approving almost $4 million to themselves to over a dozen companies where they all hold significant ownership or executive positions. The report also revealed that SDTC lacked HR processes or policies, and issues were never even reported to the board. And conveniently, the RCGT investigators couldn't even find a single record of any complaint ever being made in the history of the organization. This is a staggering level of incompetence, willful ignorance, and corruption that has resulted in SDTC improperly distributing almost $150 million in taxpayer dollars just in the past few years and abusing dozens of people that have only tried to talk about the truth. The organization deserved to be suspended. The organization also deserved a new board, executive, and senior management team, but that never happened. Not a single one of the individuals responsible for these issues has faced a single consequence. No executive or board member was terminated or even given the slightest handcuffs. And every single person that was directly implicated even had their names redacted and protected by ISED in the RCGT report. Even more shocking is the fact that despite these findings, ISED continues to allow these individuals to manage taxpayer dollars and allows them to continue perpetuating the abuse against employees who've been desperately seeking protection from their own government for over a year. That cannot stand. SDTC's board and executive continues to insist that the issues are just minor inconsistencies, while ISED and the minister continue to claim that no findings warrant serious action. These are false narratives, and I'm here to provide documented proof of all of the lies that continue to be perpetuated by both SDTC and ISED. I believe that my testimony can provide an in-depth overview of the key issues at SDTC because I worked on the financial due diligence and compliance of projects at SDTC for the key 2-year period that coincides with the most serious findings in the RCGT report. I am also intimately aware of exactly how ISED understood the issues and the clear direction that the total bureaucracy had laid out. The minister and PCO have been aware of this file for more than they are telling to the public, and there are even documented evidence that they even engaged with everyone at ISED to make sure there were edits to the briefings before they were officially sent to them. All of this is backed up by documents, transcripts, and recordings, some of which we've already submitted to this committee. Thank you, and I welcome all your questions.
Thank you very much, sir. And to start the discussion, I'll turn to MP Barrett.
Sir, I have 6 minutes, and so I'll ask you a question, and I'll give you up to a minute to respond to each. So I'll try and do this in 6 questions if I can. Can you confirm that in your opening statement that you've said that up to 150 million taxpayer dollars have been misappropriated in your estimation?
Correct.
How many board members and executives are in conflicts of interest and are funding companies that they have a financial interest in?
At least half of them.
Are you able to provide some examples to the committee?
I think key examples would include ex-CEO and ex-chair Annette Verschuren and Leah Lawrence. I think what they've said before is not the full truth, because Annette Verschuren said that she had never applied for anything at SDTC, but she in fact applied to SDTC for her Verschuren Center in 2021 and tried to get funding for that organization, which was ultimately rejected.
Sir, you mentioned that you have documented proof of the things that you've said. Is there any information that you have not submitted to the committee that you would be able to provide to the committee specifically with respect to your testimony today?
We are willing to provide all the information under the condition that it's also publicly released.
So, very interesting. I want to point out I've also put in the comments section, I have put in the link to the non-confidence petition that a Conservative MP for Ferrari has put up. So I would encourage you to sign that petition, because we have got to find a way around the next 2 years and Justin Trudeau in power. He is not, it's not just that he's not worth the cost. He is a catastrophe. Hi, this is David Crayden from Crayden's Right and Stand on Guard. Join the resistance. Resolve to resist. Become a member of this station. I've been practicing journalism in one form or another for over 30 years. I've worked in print, radio, and television for a lot of prestigious publications and media outlets. I was an Armed Forces Public Affairs officer. I worked in Parliament Hill. I know how Ottawa works, and I know how corrupt federal government can be. But you can play a part in opposing Justin Trudeau's government and Justin Trudeau's plans for Canada. You can become a part of the Crayden's Right resistance. Now, I urge you today, please support this station in any way you can. Ring that bell, subscribe, because that ensures you're at least going to continue to be able to watch these episodes. You'll beat the algorithm. But more importantly, I need your financial support. I hate to ask, but that's what I'm doing. I made a decision to pursue independent media because I believed it was the best possible route for me to take as a journalist and as a concerned citizen of Canada. So you can become a part of that. And at only $5, you can become a part of that on YouTube, on Substack, and with Buy Me a Coffee, a one-time donation. But I need your support. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you. If you've already done that, if you're already supporting the station, thank you. But if you haven't, make that decision today.